That's great.
Dylan, just for those just listening now, I mean, Dylan, apparently this meeting was going on for hours, and then I joined just a few minutes ago, and we had all of it was done, and then we asked if Dylan was recording, and no. So I gave my best advice about 5 minutes ago. So if you guys didn't get it, I'm sorry, you're screwed. Like seriously, the rest of this is gone.
Yeah, it was life-changing. I mean, I feel like a different person after hearing it. So I'm sorry that everybody else had to miss out.
I think all of us we're all like changing religions. We're all like, it's totally life-changing for all of us. That was how good that advice was.
That's wonderful.
So I apologize that these guys have been waiting. Dylan, you should do our intro.
No, I like
on that note.
No, I like that as the intro. That's how I'm going to open the show, is where I hit record and you apologized for everybody missing out on the gold.
Yeah, it was all gold. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, that's all right.
We did hit record, so there we go. Well, welcome
Dylan,
back.
Who are we talking with?
Well, I was just going to introduce them.
I'm on a lot of sugar, Dylan, so I need the quick version.
Okay. Well, Steve, we've had him on before. We've had Bryan and Heather on before for the Utah Dough Show, and they're here with their sister event called the Sugar High Dessert Festival. And also joining us, we've got Benjamin Lee, who is their partner for this event. So that's who we have.
Woo!
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, glad to be here. We're excited for this.
Hey, you guys inspired my donut selections, because prior to my talking with you before, I was thinking I knew which donuts were good. And I've branched out.
It's good.
So,
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even attending the event. It was from the people that did attend the event and then reading reviews and then doing my own research. And so I've been spoiled with donuts because of you.
Well, that's great.
Excellent.
Do you have a new favorite?
Yes, but I can't reveal that.
You can't play favorites.
No, but I mean, that being said, I think that every donut place provides different things. And so you may experience one thing at one place. I grew up with Daylight Donuts down in Utah County area. I really love Banbury Cross Donuts. And then I actually there's a Donut Boy, which, I don't know if I can thank Grubhub, if I can thank my drunk friends that got me onto that, but
all of
those are my donut choices at the moment. And then there's even the duck donuts, and there's all kinds of donuts.
Yeah.
I feel like,
but what I found is they all have different things that I like from them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, most people will ask me what are the best donut shops, and I have my 4 or 5 that I can name that are my favorite. But I tell them I can go into a donut shop and I can find one that I love, because every shop does something really specific and special. You just have to find that one donut or 2 donuts or a couple donuts that they do really well, and I can always get those donuts.
I agree with that.
Very true.
Ben, you're known as the Donut Critic. How did you get into donut critiquing?
So I'm a lifelong donut eater, like most people, I guess. But it really, I was traveling a lot for work, and I loved donut shops. So I would always just be stopping in on the local donut shops, and I thought, I've got to start documenting this. And so I started document and curating lists and figuring out where the best donuts are for each of the cities I was going to or traveling, or people started asking me. So I started doing a lot more research, and that's kind of how it all came about. And then, I stopped traveling as much, and I was just in Utah, and I thought, okay, there's so much more to Utah than just donuts. And that's why I've really branched out into most desserts. But I've always been known as the Donut Critic, and so I haven't changed my name because people just know me as the Donut Critic now.
There you go. Gotcha. And you owned a pizza restaurant before?
Yeah. Yeah, in my late 20s, I owned a pizza restaurant. I got held up at gunpoint, and that was kind of the end of it. I sold it like a couple weeks later.
Wait, you're leaving out the part. Who was it that held you up at gunpoint?
Oh, so it was a High School Musical actor. He wasn't one of the main 4 or 5. Obviously, it's not like it was like Zach. What's his name?
Yep.
Efron.
Zac Efron. Yeah, but it was number like 5 or 6 on the list. He actually had a few singing parts and a few talking parts, but he fell on hard times after that.
Did he sing for you when he held you up?
He should have. That would have made it all better, and I would have been like, okay, like all forgiven. You're good.
Here's another 20. Here's another 20.
Yeah. And was he a former employee?
Yeah, so he worked for me for like 4 or 5 months. And the funny thing is he owed me money when he robbed me. So I just cleared out my cash register. So he robbed me of $120 because that's all I had my cash register. And I owed him $60 on his last paycheck. So really, I think netted out to be like, yeah, $60 or something like that. And I was like, man, you just needed to cash that check.
That's great. Yeah.
How did you
I mean, that's complicated to cash checks.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, nobody banks anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very true.
So Ben, how did you get connected with these guys?
Just Donut World. I feel like, we just started connecting through donuts, and I showed up on one of Bryan's top donut influencer lists, and that was right before they started the dough show, and I wanted to get involved. They were starting plans and posting about wanting to do a big donut show, and I thought that is a genius idea. And so I helped do some of their outreach, and I did some of like just volunteered for putting bags together, doing some other things. I judged for them at that first dough show, and just been friends ever since.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great to share some good donut adventures, even internationally now, Ben. We've taken it international. We were both in Mexico in June, and we hit some good and some really bad donut spots.
Was it good?
Okay, there was average and then really bad.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. If you consider a churro a donut, then yes, we hit some good spots.
Right.
If not, then they were average to bad. So yeah, it's been great.
So we chatted with you guys during the first one, and you had the second one between then and now. Tell us about the one, that second one. That was down at Thanksgiving Point, right?
Yep. Yeah, Thanksgiving Point. It was in May this year. We ended up obviously 2020 kind of didn't happen for anybody, so we postponed the dough show that was supposed to be in 2020. But 21 we held it there at Thanksgiving Point at Electric Park, which was fantastic. We were really happy with the weather, first of all. It's May, so it could be 80 or it could be 40. You just don't know. And we ended up with a beautiful 75-degree day. So it was fantastic. Had about 1,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
How many shops did we end up with? 23?
About 23, sounds about right.
22, 23 donut shops participating this year. Had quite a few of them come back, and a handful of new ones as well. So it was a great success. We ended up raising just over $16,000 for charity on that event. So it was a big success. We were really happy with that, and glad we were finally able to do it. There was a lot of pent up donut demand because we couldn't do it in 2020. So definitely we had a lot of fun. So it was a great success.
Yeah, that first one, I brought home a lot of stuff, and it took me a while to work through. So that was awesome.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
This new one's even bigger. So give us some details of like vendors and things like that.
Yeah, Ben, do you want to start? And I'll add on.
So we are we're going to be capping probably our vendor list at about 60. So we are almost 3 times this last dough show. So it's a pretty ambitious project. I feel like it's been a fun ride. We are doubling our attendance at 2,000. So that also is really good news and really fun, but at the same time, like I think it's just a lot of work. But like things are coming together in a way that like just makes it super exciting. I feel like there's been a ton of support and a ton of positive. I don't know how to say it other than people are just jacked. they want to come. They want to eat all the desserts. They are really excited about those vendors that we're announcing. We have some really big shops, and then we have some really small shops. And the big shops are really good shops that most people have heard of, and then the small shops are some that we've kind of filtered and found to be really awesome. People just don't know about them yet. So there's kind of a mixed bag of the different vendors that we have at this point.
Yeah,
What's the variety of desserts that are in there? Donuts, but outside that,
it's running the gamut right now, from ice cream to pies to cooing them on to macaroons, baklava to
Cakes,
cinnamon rolls,
churros,
cookies. Yeah,
candy,
it runs.
caramels, toffee.
It's literally every
popcorn. Yeah,
we're pretty much there. I think the only thing we're trying to work with, some waffles or something else. We could use a couple more chocolate shops. I'm looking at you.
Oh, I don't know who you're looking
A
at.
couple more chocolate shops. We do
you
have a
guys say,
couple
do you have
of
any drink
chocolatiers.
vendors?
Yeah, a couple of chocolatiers that that'll be there, and various
If
candy
I
makers.
only knew some. Sorry.
So if you guys know of anybody, we could,
drink vendors. I
Dylan's
think
on.
Dylan, you had just asked about that. I feel like that is one that we definitely want more of. I feel like drink vendors, like especially dessert drinks like bobas and different types of teas or espressos.
Yeah.
I think those are something that we are actively searching for, because you have all these really sweet items. You need something to wash it down with. So
yeah,
definitely
true.
Do you guys have a favorite dessert?
Donuts.
That's a trick question.
That's
I feel like that's a trap. Okay, I will admit, she makes some out of this world, like lemon bars. There's a Texas sheet cake brownie that my mom's recipe that I just would die for. Donuts obviously are I don't make any of those, but say that's up there. What do you got?
I love cheesecake, and I love donuts, and I feel like for different reasons, like the donut can be A to Z, because you can dress it up to be so big and composed and this really sophisticated dessert, or it can be as simple as a glazed donut, and I love that about it. Yeah. And then cheesecake, I just think it's just you've got a little bit of savoriness with like the cheese, but then you can dress it up with either chocolate or fruit, and so there's some diversity in how you can eat that dessert. Those are like my two favorite desserts, I would say. And yeah, there are some good vendors that we have in Utah for that.
I don't discriminate against any desserts.
It's a sound philosophy too.
Yeah, I'm sweet tooth through and through.
Well, and okay, I think we did talk about this earlier. So you're gonna get the rerun that you missed the first 5 minutes before we hit record. But
you remembered it.
Well, I mean, some of it. So we'll see if it's any good. But like what you all just talked about, like we all have our favorites of what our mom made or all those different flavors. Like you talked about the Texas sheet cake, you talked about the lemon bars. But you instantly had a memory, and you could probably taste that when you talked about it.
Yeah.
And I think that all of us have different stories like that. And I think what you guys are doing is you're just selling that warm, fuzzy feeling. You are selling the sugar high. So that is exactly what you're trying to sell. Do you think that's important for people these days?
Well, 100%. And like I was just thinking of my favorite flavors too. Passion fruit. My wife and I always say every time we take a bite of passion fruit, I feel like I'm on a beach, whether it's like Hawaii or Mexico. Like that is the memory, and something that instantly comes to me is just like that fresh tartness, sitting on a beach, just something tropical. And I think it's important because, like you said, that's what you're really selling. I mean, like growing up, you know, you were always told like you're not selling a drill, you're selling the hole that the drill makes. And I feel like that's exactly the same thing with desserts. Like you're selling that moment, you're selling that them reliving those tastes or the experiences that they used to have.
But you consider a lot of our memories, I mean, like what you're talking about, Steve, a lot of our memories as kids and as adults are built around food. I mean, that's, you know, that's kind of that core thing that either, you know, brings people together and, you know, sweets, desserts, you know, whatever it is, or I think are even another level above that because there's a euphoria attached with it, right? There's a sugar high, you know, and that definitely selling those memories and giving people that opportunity. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no movie does it better than Ratatouille. You remember when he takes that bite and it's just like that.
Yes.
It takes him back to when he was a young child. That's
a great example.
Exactly what I think of most of the time when that memory comes up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that why you do what you're doing?
So the funny thing is so we talk about this with like parenting. My wife and I talk about this. So you either do something that your parents did, or you go back to something because it was like a really great experience, or you do the exact opposite. And I feel like I grew up with not a ton of sweets and not a ton of variety. And so it's created this insatiable desire to get the latest and the greatest, the most delicious, the best. And like that just keeps driving me because I think in general, I grew up not having those. And so I feel like I'm opposite of when I was younger, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. I kind of agree with that, Ben. It brings me back to one of the rules in my house. Cereal was a staple of my childhood and
still is
adulthood. But my parents had a rule that you had to have, if you had sugar cereal, you had to have half and half. You had to have half sugar and half non-sugar. So you learned to make some really weird combinations of cereal.
They weren't smart enough to realize they could have half of a bowl of sweet and half of a bowl of not sweet, like in separate bowls. They put it together.
Yeah, so I had grape nuts and Captain Crunch, you know, mixed together. Like that was yeah, but I not until like last year somebody told me, why didn't you just eat them in separate bowls? And I went, I have no idea.
That would have been a great idea back then.
Yeah, it would have been a great idea. But I think, you know, we're definitely enjoy, like I love the look on people's faces for the dough show. I mean, everybody loves donuts. If you don't, it just means you haven't found the right donut yet. But the look on people's faces and just the joy, and it's you know, we're not selling anything of excess per se. We're not asking people just to completely engorge themselves, although that may occur, but more just the enjoyment that people have of trying, you know, different desserts. I mean, that's what really I find very fulfilling, you know, personally, is you get to share that because I also enjoy it, and you get to share that passion with some other, you know, with other like-minded individuals.
I think I enjoy doing it because we get to know the different shop owners.
Yeah.
And it, you know, helps build relationships in finding those gems that you didn't know existed before. And I love being able to, you know, show that to other people and be like, hey, look what's here. You didn't even know. Because, you know, there's still some that come up. I'm like, I had no idea that existed. And I'm like, okay, that was really good. Definitely need to tell everybody. So that's why I really enjoy doing it, is just to build relationships with people and to show what's really around in Utah. Because everybody's like, oh, there's no good food in Utah. Well, there's plenty. You just have to know where they are.
Yeah.
And also,
have you found I'm sorry, Dylan, have you guys found like a common theme with like some of the different shop owners? Like, you know, maybe there are different methodologies or there are different ideologies. Have you found anything that's consistent when you look at a chocolate shop, or you look at a sweet shop, or you look at a donut shop? Is there one trait that stands out to you that all of them have?
It's a great question.
I think there's like categories in it, and like I feel like the categories are the people that they are looking to serve, or like they're looking because, you know, some are looking to serve like on a volume crowd. You know, there's a certain consumer that doesn't care about high quality, they want volume. And I feel like a lot of times the owner's mentality and how they approach their business is in the exact same way. because there is a definite difference when you meet an owner that understands high quality, wants to deliver something really special. They have that, like, a different personality or a different trait about them. And I think it's just because they want to deliver something new and different or special to the consumer, and it attracts those type of people to that. And so I don't know if I would say like one general one. I feel like there are just categories with all types of dessert shops, depending on who they're targeting.
I definitely think the passion, I think is what you're describing, Ben. There's a large, I say majority of them have a kind of that burning passion, for what it is they do, whatever their art is. We see that there are some others that treat it only like a business, and it's just, it's very black and white. And that can work too, not saying that it's a, better or worse way, but we definitely see, I think if I were to pick any common thing, it would be that passion, that kind of what drives them to do what they do, to be the best at whatever, that art or that craft is that they're doing, in this case, dessert.
And an element I was just thinking of is the history of what led him to get the shop, if it's passed down through families, or they met a friend and they got inspired. Have you heard any stories like that, of that, meeting with the different vendors?
Yeah, I think there is a difference in that too. People that usually start from scratch and are striving to create their own vision and have their own passion, it's definitely a different feeling than those that have inherited or otherwise purchased. It's not to say that it's the wrong way to go or it's bad. It's just different. You can just tell that those that are in it from the very beginning have a different thought and way to approach things. I've seen some very passionate people that have inherited their businesses, and I feel like those are just as intriguing, because they grew up a lot of times like serving or doing like the dirty jobs around the business, and then to have like the reins given to them, like I think it's just like a super interesting thing to watch or interact with. So I think it just kind of depends on where inside of like the business's journey they've been inserted.
Gotcha.
I'm also curious, being in the industry, COVID's impacted all of us, and especially food services. It's impacted it multiple ways. So it's impacted us with vendors, like trying to find supplies. I was talking with the chocolate company, even just getting the cocoa beans from a factory or from a farm in the Ivory Coast or wherever it was. All those guys were impacted with COVID. Some of them couldn't even farm as much because they didn't have the employees to do it. At a chocolate shop or at a bakery, now we're really struggling to have employees that even want to work for us. And then you have the mindset of, well, you don't pay me enough, or, I don't make enough money to do this. Do you think that's going to have, what role do you think that will have on society?
Yeah, I think the lasting impacts, Heather's talked to so many of the vendors that, and for the dough show, in particular, we had to work through, a lot of staffing issues with a lot of our vendors. Some of them were able to provide just the donuts. They couldn't provide a person to come and, kind of staff their table. So we've definitely seen those struggles. We've had some vendors for Sugar High that said, yeah, we don't have the staff to do it.
I think staffing is one of the biggest issues with, I think, everybody. Is, I talked to one of my friends who owns a shop, and she's like, I can't compete with big businesses, big corporates, because I can't pay the same as a small mom and pop shop can't pay the same as a big business, as a corporate business. And so she's like, we are really hurting trying to get anybody to come work for us because they want to be here.
Heather, on the other hand of that, so from the vendor standpoint or the bakery, you have the employees that are impacted. What about consumers? Do you think we even understand as consumers how it's going to impact our day-to-day when we want to go to our favorite bakery or our favorite restaurant? And what do you see the impact of that being?
I see as a general public, like nobody's going to realize what this is going to do for everybody, because a lot of these shops aren't going to survive.
Yeah,
if they can't
that's-
find employees.
that's
And
when
you're gonna
we'll
want to
start
go to your
seeing it.
favorite shop and they're not there anymore. And you're like, oh, what just happened? And the other one, talking to another vendor, like, yeah, I can start paying more, but now I have to raise all my prices.
Yeah.
And so then you go to the shop and you're expecting to pay a certain price, and now they have to increase the price, increase how much you're paying just to afford to have it.
But-
So we will see it, as a general public, we will see an impact from that.
But I also think generally a lot of these store owners are doing everything they can, and this is the part that nobody sees, doing everything they can to absorb all of that. One vendor I have in mind in particular, she had 2 other employees. It was her and 2 other employees, and she was just talking to us about the struggles because it's the same 2 people that have to do everything. That have to do it, and it's like, I can't give them a day off. I need to give them a day off. So like, these are the things behind the scenes, the struggles that as a customer, you show up, get your donuts and go home. You don't realize the struggle that's going on behind the counter. That these people may not have had a day off for the last 2 months because they can't hire anybody else. So there's definitely struggles out there. But I think like what Heather said, we're going to start seeing more and more of those impacts. A lot of these places aren't going to make it.
Yeah, I was going to say, from a consumer standpoint, people, I think a lot of times view COVID as, okay, that happened, masks happened, staffing changes or shortages happened, it's going to go back to normal. But I don't think it's going to go back to the same level. And there's some things that are significantly changed. I mean, you can just look around, and in the underlying, like Bryan and Heather have said, there will be big changes and things happening that still haven't played out yet.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I love that you guys are providing an avenue though for those vendors, and I know I need to follow up on the email too and look at it. But I think
you got the email?
I mean, I think Dylan got an email. I'm just kidding. I throw Dylan under the bus, but but I think that's
I was CC'd. You were on it.
Dylan read it.
Did Dylan send the read receipts? Because I've learned to turn those things off. Do not send read receipts. But, no, but I just think that all that's impacting me. Just as we're talking about all these other businesses, I'm seeing the same thing, and I kind of agree, Ben, that I think that what the hell is normal, and like what's pre-COVID anymore. And whether it was COVID or whether it was like, a civil war and wherever that grows vanilla beans, all of that's going to trickle down. And I think we as consumers have been really dumb to that. Like, as far as like, we just expect the hamburger to be there. We don't expect like the process of how we get the hamburger or the milk or the chocolate milk or any of that. And I kind of like what you're doing, because it gives that. And the whole point of what all of us are trying to do is to sell that warm, fuzzy feeling. And, so that all of us have like good experiences. And I think that that's value for our communities. So thank you for helping the education part as well.
Yeah. I think that was one of the kind of the impetus for us starting the Dough Show, was being able to showcase those vendors, to give them that platform that they can use, to get their product, get themselves in front of more people, and taking that idea and that concept and using it for Sugar High, as similar, like Heather said, and I think Ben said, there's a lot of vendors that nobody's ever heard of. They're, either they're home-based bakers or they're just small, starting out, trying to build that platform that'll get them some exposure and, hopefully help their business.
Tell us a little bit about the schedule. You've got it broken up into 3 different sessions, the event.
Yeah.
And where people can find it.
Absolutely. Schedule wise, we're still working on the schedule. We may end up just with 2 sessions, but there's a VIP session that people, it would be wise of them to go after VIP tickets. You get in the door first. It's a smaller crowd than the general admission. You get some extra treats and some extra swag. It's like showing up early to the party, and there's not that many other people there yet.
Yeah, you get more guarantee of hitting some of the popular shops and the popular treats, because there's limited quantities, obviously, and so like you want to definitely get there first.
That's one thing that we've never really talked about this on our social medias or anything, but as we have our vendors coming in, we are selling 2,000 tickets, but we didn't ask our vendors to bring 2,000 samples because there's no way they can get rid of all of them, especially if there's, VIP gets 40 sample tickets, they're not going to go see all 60 vendors. And so we've asked our vendors to bring, about 1,200 samples so that they will run out at some point.
Yeah, some of them will.
Some of them will run out, especially some of the more popular ones.
Yep.
And so some people, if you don't get that VIP ticket, you're probably guaranteed you probably won't get to try those, but there'll be other vendors to try.
Yeah, definitely plenty of samples to go around.
Yes, plenty of samples.
Maybe not your favorite shop, but so then it starts at 1:00 on that Saturday, the 16th of October, at the Southtown. I still call it Southtown Mountain America Expo Center. Still, I call it the Delta Center still. So I don't know. It's but yeah,
and the website and the social media too.
sugarhighevents.com. Social media is sugar.high.events on Instagram. And Facebook, just search for Sugar High Events, and you'll find it there. What am I missing, Ben?
No, I think that kind of hit it. I think that if you follow along Instagram, like, you're going to get all the news and the updates. We do have an event page on Facebook, so you can have reminders sent to you as well. So that's super helpful for people, because I'm one that forgets. If I don't have a reminder or something telling me like when I have an event coming up, I just space it until the day before, and I was like, whoa, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So
yep. Yeah, so
GA starts at 2:30.
2:30, yeah. So VIP gets in, the doors open at 1 p.m. and then general admission will start coming in about 2:30. So
I guess one other reminder that you could add is bring your stretchy pants. Like, we don't have
definitely.
We don't have a dress code other than probably casual. So like, you can definitely eat whatever you want.
Casual and elastic waistbands. Yeah.
Even GA, you get 25 bite-sized samples, so you get to try a little sample from 25 different places.
It's still
and trust
a lot.
me, I've tried it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
We went to an event where they did have bite size, and I'm amazed at how fast you can fill up. So it is possible.
Got to pace.
Even with small paces.
Got to pace yourself. Yep.
And what's the pricing between the VIP and the regular?
VIP tickets are $45. They come with, right now, they come with 40 sample tickets and all the other fun stuff we talked about. Our general admission prices are $30. And it comes with 25 sample tickets. You still get a take home bag and all that, but you really don't get VIP bragging rights. So that's something to keep in mind.
Now, before we jump into the bonus questions, share a memorable donut or dessert experience, like a certain shop somewhere, or something like that.
Well, and as they were talking earlier, or maybe a horrible donut experience.
There we go.
There's plenty of those.
So I mean, either or.
Ben, you want to go first?
Actually, just maybe it's because the post that you had today, Bryan, but we were driving in Mexico and we saw this donut vendor just off to the side of the road, and just had these big fluffy donuts. Like, just, it looked like the most amazing stop that you could make if you're a donut lover. And I was just so excited, and we stopped, and that first bite was just immediate disappointment. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had that with a donut where it looks so good and looks like it has the most potential, and it is just not what you think. And that was the one that came
really
up
bad.
Man,
it was bad.
Good.
I think for one of my most memorable would probably be one of the most unique donuts I've had. It was actually at another donut festival in Dallas. One of the vendors put together a shepherd's pie donut, and it was literally
weird.
Yeah, literally everything in shepherd's pie you could expect, from the green beans to the corn to the cheese to the mashed potatoes, on a donut. And I immediately was like, nope, like, this isn't for me. But probably was coaxed into,
you being a judge, you have
I was judging at that one, so I kind of had to I had to make good on that. So but surprisingly, it was very good. It still had the savory aspect to it, but just not what I expected. You know, that one will always stick with me, because you see literally it's like your mom's shepherd pie, you know, on top of a donut. It's like, this should not happen.
And I passed on that one.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't try
passed
it,
on. It's top of the list of things that should never happen, yet it, you know, turned out pretty well.
You
So
did have one with balsamic vinegar on it too. So
yeah, there's balsamic vinegar. That was new.
I don't know about that.
So do those tastes go together? Sweet and savory?
Yeah, I mean, Ben, you love, you know, there's a good way to do maple bacon. You know, that's a very popular one. So the sweet and savory definitely can work.
Yeah,
but
there's
limits.
Yeah, there's limits for sure. There's a place in Miami, now one in Texas, called the Salty Donut, and they do a really good balance of salt and sweet. And that's the thing is, I do think sweet and savory go together. And I feel like the shops that don't understand that and that are just over the top sweet, it's one of those where you only can have a few bites of a donut and then you're done. But those that get it, I can eat 4 or 5 of those donuts because they balance them so well with a little bit of salt to go with that sweet.
Yeah, very true.
Have any of you guys had a donut burger, or the donuts, the buns to the burger? How are they?
For me, it was messy. I mean, the donuts don't, if it's truly a, you know, a fried donut, they tend not to hold up as well. So you either have to eat it fast or just plan to make a mess out of it. But
yeah, I've had the one from Cheddar Burger. They used to, I'm not sure if they still have it on their menu, but
I don't think they do.
They got rid of it a couple years ago.
Got it.
Yeah, but that's a great way to go. There's plenty of variations of it, but a play on the sweet and savory still. But donuts as buns, just the struggle, you know, not built for that.
Yeah, I had the KFC one that they did a year ago on the chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah.
I think the hardest thing for those two as well is that they have to source the donuts, and when you get frozen thawed donuts, like you're not setting your sandwich up for success. It's immediately going to be a failure, or you have to source it from somebody locally, and which sometimes works out, but it's hard.
Is there a proper timeline on when to eat the donut by? Is there like an hour, 6 hours, 12 hours, 2 days?
Now, Steve, these are all very specific because each shop is different. I think Banbury.
Very advanced questions, Steve.
Yeah.
There's a lot of science here.
Yeah.
I can only eat them so fast, so I need to know where to go for the dirt.
So Banbury is really good for the first day, and then their cinnamon crumb is good the next day. But if you're going camping, or if you're going to eat them 2 or 3 days later, go to Fresh Donut and Deli on 2700 South and State Street. Their donuts are the best the next day, or like, you know, in like 2 days or 3 days. Like they just hold up so much better than most other donuts.
Yeah, it's hit and miss. Some of them are even better, you know, than fresh the next day, surprisingly. But yeah, timeline, Steve, I don't know. You know,
depends on the donut, really.
Boy, it's tough because we've hit donut shops in the afternoon, you know, and you know that they were made at 4 or 5 in the morning, and yet at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, they're still fantastic. So, but there's other places where they haven't been. So it's that's definitely a tough question.
You'll have to do some research, Steve.
Yes.
That's all I'm good at. Eating donuts, ice cream, chocolates.
Love it.
That's my research.
And sugar cookies.
Oh yeah, totally. The cream cheese sour cream sugar cookies.
Very good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Has to be cream cheese. Because of the tart and the sweet, I go with that. So that's a good combo. And I think I can eat 3 of them, and it's not as sweet as, like, I don't know, the common ones that you can buy at those soda places. Those are not my thing for sugar cookies.
Yeah.
I like a little tart.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
How did we get to that?
I don't know. Now you brought soda places into it, and I don't know where to go with it.
Yeah.
But actually, the place to go is all of us have different taste and different things that we like. some of my friends I hang with, I'm like, where in the hell did you grow up? Because your tastes suck. And I'm like, I do not know. How do you like that? And then there's some friends, you know, that I have that have a refined taste. And my theory is all of them are right. It just depends on us.
Yep. Yeah. Very true.
No, I'm a relativist in general, but especially in dessert. Like I have a hard time telling somebody that something they're eating is like really gross, because the same thing, like they have different backstories and their tastes have been developed. And so to them, that is like the best dessert. And so I have a hard time when people ask me, hey, tell me where to go when I'm in, you know, Provo. And it's like, well, I'll tell you where I go, but I don't know your exact preferences, because what you like may not match with what I like. It's difficult.
All very true, except for ube.
Except for ube.
Matcha. Sorry, not ube. It was matcha.
I still cannot get behind matcha.
Yep. Still not my favorite.
At our shop, okay, my father was an influence of our shop, but my grandmother taught him how to dip chocolates. Our caramel recipe is passed down from her. When we opened, we had a plain caramel. The salted caramels were a new concept. I still remember when we first made our salted caramels, it wasn't until about 2006, 2007-ish that we made our first salted caramels. They are one of our best sellers. And my father and all of that generation think they're shit. Like they just do not get that anybody would do this. And we ruined, and you know, grandmother's rolling in her grave because we messed up her caramel recipe by adding salt to it. And yeah, I agree. I think that we all have amazing flavors and different tastes.
And it's trendy. Like there are trends too. Like I believe that not everything is delicious all the time. I feel like there are seasons and trends and things like that just hit. I mean, that's why pumpkin, I think, starts here. But pumpkin, like drinking or eating pumpkin something in April just does not appeal to me at all.
Yeah.
And eating a peep at Christmas time doesn't appeal to you either.
Oh, I like peeps actually.
Make an exception for that. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to do a mashup where every holiday we eat the opposite holiday dessert. You know, wouldn't that be kind of fun?
So for Easter, eat pumpkin spice. And
and for fall we're gonna have peeps and everything.
This sounds like a fun series. Actually, I think this could be a fun series.
Yeah, we can really do something with that.
I am so not going to be the taste tester on that, but I will judge. I will judge without tasting. I will just.
You'll judge people, or you'll be a judge.
Yes.
Hey, I'll do both. I will judge people on what they're eating, and I'll do all that.
Excellent.
Well, I guess we can do our bonus questions. The first one is, what does creativity mean to you?
Ben?
I was gonna say,
take it, Ben.
I think creativity is just letting out your inner thoughts and emotions and everything. I feel like it's not necessarily creating. And I say this, I actually work for
Ben, you should have warned your coworker. Ben, okay, first off, you should have warned your prior employee that robbed you after singing that maybe creativity should not have been going and then robbing the store that you worked for while wearing your High School Musical outfit.
Well, that's the funny thing is, okay, so do you guys remember the commercials for Svarnik and Bill, the anti-smoking commercials?
Yeah.
So he was one of those guys. So he was the poofy haired one with the sword fights and stuff like that.
Oh man.
And so he came in with a ponytail. So his creativity for harnessing that hair just wasn't there. He should have done something more creatively to do that.
Harnessing the hair.
We need to
Dylan, do you know what he's talking about? Would harness the hair. I don't know this concept.
Me either.
Ben, that's going to be one of your quotes now.
if you see his hair, you need to harness the hair.
That's going in the logbook for famous quotes.
Okay, sorry, I totally messed up your train of thought. Yeah, you know, back to Adobe, blah blah blah.
No, so I work for Adobe, and everything we do is talking about creativity. And I feel like creativity isn't necessarily creating something. To me, creativity is like expressing or like letting out what you have inside it, and that how that is displayed in like the medium, like paints, food, you know, chocolates, whatever. Like that's how it's like displayed, but like a lot of times it's just like that what you have inside that just comes out. That's what I say.
Yeah, I think creativity, at least for me, is largely driven by procrastination. In that I can come up with some really cool shit on very short notice. But if I'm, left to my own devices, I will, put it off, and then voila, it turns into something amazing. But
Thanks for a very stressful marriage. Planning for events.
Yeah, I got plenty of time to build all these things. but I do like what Ben said. It's who you are. Go ahead,
Bryan. At our Katie is known for like she has your method, and so she'll just be like, it just has to get done. It just has to. And I know we had a wedding cake that, like, she started to worry about it like the day before. Yep. And then, by like 3 a.m., she's like, well, it just has to get done because it just has to. And,
yep.
And well, I mean, she always got it done. But that was our joke, is like, yeah, Kate, we're 5 minutes till, but it's got to get done. So we just have to do it. But like, yeah.
There's no option otherwise. That's right.
So I think you're probably always going to pull it out, even if you do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's worked well for me.
And it's probably a good balance for both of you.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, sure. I think so. Going on 20 years, I think we figured it out.
Harness the hair, Bryan. Harness the hair.
Harness the hair. Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you a picture of this hair, and you guys are gonna want to.
Absolutely. Yeah, please do. Please do.
So you guys.
What else
you guys been married 20 years?
Are we coming around 20? Let's see. 3, 4, oh yeah, we're like 19 coming up.
19.
Yeah, me and my wife, it's 20 years next month. So
congratulations. That's fantastic.
Crazy. Time flies.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
I'm the only one that messes up marriage. So I'm the only one that's like, nobody could put up with me that long. If I make 20 years in a marriage, I'm gonna be like 100 at least. Those odds probably aren't looking so good.
Every yin needs a yang. So
that's right. That is true. That is true.
All right. The next bonus is, who is your favorite Muppet and why?
Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster, I say that because that was one of the childhood realizations that crushed me, was when I don't know if I figured it out or somebody said it, but I realized that the Cookie Monster doesn't actually eat the cookies. He's chomping them up, but they're all falling out of his mouth on the ground. And when I realized that, it was a pivotal moment in my life. Bad or good, I don't know, but Cookie Monster still is my favorite.
The Hensons didn't put a hole in the back for it to fall through. So
it all came out the front. Yep.
What about you, Ben?
What goes in must come out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it might be like Rizzo the Rat. Like I just loved like the Muppet Christmas Carol, and I just feel like he's just like the sideshow, and it just makes me like laugh every time. Like that's definitely like my favorite part of it. So.
Yeah, love Rizzo. And then in the movie of your life, who would you like to play you?
Hey, wait, Heather.
No, I just go just ignoring me.
I want to know Heather.
Heather's going, who the crap are the Muppets?
I have no idea.
When we met, she hadn't watched, what was it, Rocky? She hadn't watched any of the Rocky movies. She's probably watched one now.
Seen some.
I've never watched Rocky 2 yet.
You can skip 2, go to 4. That's
I
probably.
haven't watched like Star Wars.
Yeah,
or-
she hasn't seen any of the Star Wars, any of that.
The Creeds are good.
So the Muppets.
I know who the Muppets are.
And the Ewoks could have been like a Muppet. You can
Yeah.
count those as
True.
a Muppet.
Yeah, I would take Ewoks then. They're cute.
Sesame Street.
Gremlins. It could be a gremlin.
Yeah, that's true.
Gremlins are gross.
No answer.
I have no answer. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Okay. So the movie of your life, who would play you is the last one.
I remember this question last time. What did I say?
I don't know. What did you say?
I don't remember.
Catherine Hepburn? No.
Who would play you?
Anthony Edwards.
Oh yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
Just because they look alike.
Well, yeah.
Very much. That's what he told me he looked like when we met.
Yeah.
We met online.
Yep. Met online, and she's
I
like,
had never seen a picture of him. He said, I look like Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, at
Okay.
least he didn't-
When-
at
in
least he
the
didn't
ER
catfish
days.
you.
In the ER
This
days.
is in the ER days. He looks different now, but when he was
Yeah,
on
at
the
least he didn't catfish you and just it wasn't true.
That's true.
Yeah, it was spot on.
It was very spot on. I knew exactly who he
I
was.
had the glasses and everything.
When I walked in the restaurant, I knew exactly who he was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Can I say Shia LaBeouf, but like 5 years ago? Like not the current
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, like 5 years ago, maybe?
A great pick. Absolutely. I could see that.
So-
Did you figure out who it was?
who would play me? I don't have no idea.
Who is the dark haired gal in Devil's Wear Prada?
Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's who I suggest.
Okay.
She's
I'll
hot.
take it.
She's hot. And Anne Hathaway is hot too. So.
Well, there we go. Well, let's recap all the details for everybody. Tickets go on sale Friday. This will be out Monday.
Okay, so they're on sale now. Hopefully there's some left.
Maybe I should release this on Friday.
You could.
But yeah, where can people get tickets and find out details?
SugarHighEvents.com. Yep, we get tickets there. Take you to Eventbrite. They're handling all our ticket sales. But it's the event's October 16th, Saturday, running from about 1 to 5, or depending on when everybody gets tired from eating. So
Sugar coma.
sugar coma, carb coma. Yeah, we'll have well over 50 vendors there offering samples, and you can also buy prepackaged full size, whatever, dessert type you like to take home to the family. So big party to celebrate sugar and all things sweet.
And there'll be some fun displays.
Oh yes.
You have Ben and Brian, there'll be fun displays there.
Yeah, Ben has a giant chocolate bar in his living room now. So
Yep, 6 foot chocolate. bar.
What?
yeah,
Ben, you should have that in the
that should
background.
be your background from now on.
That should have been the background.
I should. I'll put it up now. Like, and yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do it next time.
Maybe I want one of those. Okay, yeah, let's see those things.
It's only like what, 100 pounds, Ben?
Yeah.
This one was only 100. Like, I wanted to build it, and it was going to be like 350 pounds, and I could justify it. But
Yeah.
that's 100 pounds.
It's a fun one. You have to send it when you send the hair pic, send a pic of the chocolate bar as well.
Okay, I'll send both of them.
Hashtag harness the hair.
Yep. I love it. I
Well,
love
thank
it.
you, Ben. It was very nice to meet you, and you guys, it was great
Yeah, it
to
was
talk to you and see you again.
Yes.
This has been fantastic. We love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will respond to the email.
Okay.
I'm right on top of that.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll anxiously await for it then.
Steve, we're waiting. Come on, respond.
Yeah,
Yeah, is it- Is it
I'm
now?
on it. I'm on it. Oh wow, this connection is like slowing up really bad.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you.
you. Have a
Thank
good
you all.
one.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.